Question number 3, the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Social Development and Employment. Does she stand by her statement in regard to hardship assistance that, quote, "I think it proves that the help is there when people need it," end quote? If so, why?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, and that would be because hardship assistance were given out to 51,000 people for the month of March 08, but 91,000 were given out for the month of March 2011.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Why did she tell the meeting of 48 budget advisers on Friday that it was her staff's fault for misinterpreting her instruction and not understanding her intent in regards to changes to hardship grants, which have led to even more hardship for some people? And what will her new directive say to staff?
The Honourable Paula
Mr
Bennett.
Speaker, actually that's not what I said to the budgeting services on Friday. What I said to them is that it's a leadership issue and should start here and then go through managers to those frontline staff who were simply interpreting it the way that they saw it come through. So we said budgeting activity. That was interpreted as meaning that everyone had to go to a budgeting service, so we can look at changing that so that we don't have quite that same number of going through.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. When she said on Television One on Friday night that there'd be extra funding for budget advisers from unspent funds from this year's budget, what increased figure does she have in mind to give to them?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, as I explained on Friday to those services, we're still working through that process. So Family and Community Services are looking at how we can fill some of that gap, because we certainly recognise that they have had an increase and have had trouble actually filling that. So can we sort of look backwards a bit and make sure that we actually fill that gap for them?
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Why did it take 2 months for desperate budget advisers to get a confirmed meeting with her to discuss the explosion in people being sent for budget advice, and the appointment only was confirmed the morning after their spokesperson appeared on television?
Mr Speaker, that's actually not true. The meeting's been in my diary for more than 3 weeks. To be all fair, the request came through in mid-February, and we then had a wee thing called the earthquake, which did mean that the next 3 weeks were sort of taken up with trying to deliver that, which is what a minister does and what you would expect. So actually when they made the suggestion of the date on Friday, I confirmed that, and that was actually weeks ago.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. What did the Prime Minister tell her about the difficulties low-income New Zealanders are facing and the pressure budget advisers are under, in light of his statement last week that he regularly goes out to see social services, which lead one to assume that he knows what's happening to the so-called underclass in New Zealand?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, in all fairness, the comments from the Prime Minister makes to me about social services and what they're delivering are so many that I wouldn't have time to stand here and actually relate them to the opposition. So he actually follows what's happening in the different regions and with those different organisations all the time, and is rather forward in giving me his opinion on them.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Will she now admit that she had no idea of the level of hardship some New Zealand families are facing and the pressure community services have been trying to deal with and the problems I've had to deal with? And does she think turning up in a BMW with or without a heated seat removed her from the real world that they're living in?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I'm not going to play politics with people's lives like that. So what I will say, though, is that...
Order. Order.
Oh, it's about time you got riled up about something. So what is actually happening, Mr Speaker, is as far as hardship assistance is concerned, I'd like to say in March 08 under that government, 51,000 were giving out at a cost of 12 million. Under this one in March 11, we gave out 91,000 at a cost of around 20 million.
I can assure the Minister the Speaker's not getting riled up about anything. Question number 4, Rahui.